You do not have a manifestation problem. You have an identity problem. And once you understand the difference, everything changes. So let us start with the premise, as stated in Ephesians 4:22-24. Put off your old self, which belongs to your former manner of life, and be renewed in the spirit of your minds, and put on the new self, created after the likeness of God in true righteousness and holiness. Put off the old self, be renewed in the spirit of your mind, put on the new self. 3 steps, and those 3 steps contain the entire answer to why your life looks the way it does right now, and exactly what to do to change it. Now, before we go any further, I want to stop here, because what we are about to explore works better if you are already stepping into the right state. So I need you to say this out loud right now. Say it with me. I put off the old self. I am renewed in the spirit of my mind. I put on the new self. This is who I am now. Say it one more time and really feel it this time. I put off the old self. I am renewed in the spirit of my mind. I put on the new self. This is who I am now. Good, hold that, because that is not just an affirmation. That is the entire framework of this video in 4 sentences. And now let us go through it step by step with master key number 1. Manifestation is a symptom, identity is the cause, and by that it is meant very precisely. Every single thing that has appeared in your life up until this moment is a perfect match for the identity you have been carrying. Not what you wished for, not what you visualized, not what you affirmed, but what you genuinely accepted as who you are and what is normal for you. And I know that can be uncomfortable to sit with. I know it was uncomfortable for me the first time I really let that land, because it means the circumstances are not random, they are not unfair, they are not the result of bad luck. They are a precise reflection of the identity that has been running in the subconscious mind. And the good news, and this is genuinely good news, is that if the circumstances are a reflection of the identity, then changing the identity changes the circumstances, not the other way around. You cannot out-manifest your identity, you simply cannot. The identity is the blueprint, the circumstances are the reflection, and no technique in the world overrides the blueprint. But changing the blueprint changes everything. Now, master key number 2. Most people have what I call the gap problem. And honestly, when you see it, you will recognize it immediately because it is so universal. The gap problem is this. Most people believe in abundance in theory, but do not believe it is genuinely available for them specifically. They say, yes, I know the law works. Yes, I know other people have manifested incredible things. Yes, I believe in the principles. But then there is this quiet voice underneath that says, but not really for me, not at that level, not that easily. And that quiet voice is the identity talking. It is the old self speaking, the one built from years of conditioning, from being told what was realistic for someone like you, from your own past experiences of things not quite working out, from watching what happened to people around you. And that gap between believing in the abundance and believing it is genuinely available for you, specifically, is the identity problem. And the painful truth is that no amount of technique bridges that gap, only an identity shift bridges it. When the identity shifts, when who you genuinely believe yourself to be changes, the gap closes, and the outer world begins to reflect the new belief. Now, master key number 3. The old self does not go quietly. And this is critical to understand because most people think that once they decide to change their identity, it simply happens. Feel it's beyond. They say, I'm a new person now. And then a week later, they are back in the old patterns, and they cannot understand why. And the reason is exactly what the premise says. Put off the old self. It does not say the old self automatically disappears. It says put it off, actively, deliberately. Because the old identity has been running the show for a long time. It has deep roots in the subconscious mind. It has been reinforced by years of evidence, by years of circumstances reflecting it back, by other people consistently treating you in ways that matched it, and it will not simply dissolve because you decided you want something different. It must be actively put off every single time it shows up, every time the old thought arises, every time the old pattern tries to pull you back. That is the opportunity to put off the old self and return to the new one. And every single time you do that, you are weakening the old blueprint and strengthening the new one. Now, master key number 4. And this is the insight I think is the most practically valuable in this entire video. Your identity is not what you affirm. It is what you accept as normal, and I want you to really hear this, because this is where most people's practice breaks down. Your identity is not your vision board. It is not the affirmations you repeat. It is not the things you say you believe. Your identity is what feels normal to you. It is what your body and nervous system naturally expect. It is the baseline state your subconscious treats as simply the way things are for someone like me. So if you have been affirming abundance for years, but scarcity still feels normal, still feels like the baseline, still feels like just how life tends to go for you, then your identity is scarcity. The affirmations are sitting on top of a scarcity identity, and that is why they are not working. And for people who seem to attract good things effortlessly without doing any particular technique, abundance simply feels normal to them. It is their baseline expectation, and the subconscious mind manifests what is normal, what is expected, what the blueprint treats as just the way things are for someone like me. So the question is not, what are you affirming? The question is, what feels normal to you right now, and how do you shift that? Now, master key number 5. The shift is from affirming to inhabiting, and by that it is meant very precisely. Affirming is still the old identity saying new words. You are fundamentally still being the old self, but adding a new script on top of it, and the subconscious sees right through it because it responds to the felt sense, to the emotional instruction, not to the words. Inhabiting is different. Inhabiting means you begin to genuinely feel, think, and act as the person who already has the life you desire. Not performing it, not pretending it, genuinely occupying that state from the inside out, asking yourself very specific questions. What would feel normal to me if this were already true? How would I move through the day if this were simply just how my life is? What would I stop worrying about? What would I take completely for granted? And you begin to live from those answers, consistently, until the subconscious mind begins to accept the new state as normal, until the identity begins to shift from the inside. And that is when everything changes, because now the blueprint has updated, now the instruction in the subconscious mind has changed, and the power of awareness begins manifesting the new identity in form. Now, master key number 6, and this brings us back directly to the premise. The new self must be worn, not wished. Ephesians does not say imagine the new self or hope for the new self or affirm the new self. It says put it on, like clothing, deliberately, daily. And by that it is meant very precisely. Every single morning you make a decision about who you are. You put on the identity of someone who already has the life you desire. You begin the day as that person. You move through the day as that person. You make decisions as that person. You relate to money as that person, to relationships as that person, to opportunities as that person. And when the old self shows up, when the old thoughts arise, when the old patterns try to pull you back, you put off the old self. You let those thoughts appear to disappear in mind. You let the emotions arise and subside, and you return to the new self. And you do this every single day until one day you notice that the new self is not something you have to consciously put on anymore. It is simply who you are. It is your natural state. It is what feels normal, and that is the identity shift. And that is when the outer world truly transforms, not because you forced the circumstances, but because the blueprint changed from the inside. Now let us look at the point of life, because this is where everything comes together in one clear picture. At your core, you are pure awareness. Your real nature is infinite fulfillment. Now as an individual, you carry an identity, a concept of self, a blueprint stored in the subconscious mind, and the power of awareness works from that blueprint and manifests it in form in every area of your life. Your relationships reflect the blueprint. Your finances reflect the blueprint. Your health, your opportunities, your daily experience, all of it is a perfect mirror of the identity. And most people are exhausted from trying to change the mirror by working on the reflection, managing circumstances, forcing the outer world, when the only effective approach is to change the blueprint, to put off the old self, be renewed in the spirit of the mind, and put on the new self. When the blueprint changes, the power of awareness manifests the new blueprint in form. All these layers begin to transform. The identity deepens to reflect the new self. The values and beliefs transform naturally. The capabilities manifest. The behaviors shift effortlessly. The environments appear to transform. The right people begin to appear. the right opportunities begin to materialize, not because you forced them, but because the blueprint changed and the outer world is simply reflecting the new blueprint. By grace and grace alone, in flow, and along the way when the old self shows up, which it will, especially in the early stages, you simply put it off again. Let the thoughts appear to disappear, return to the new self, and each time you do that you are building the new identity stronger. Now I want to say one more thing before we close, because I think it is the most important thing I can say. The version of you that already has the life you desire is not a fantasy. It is not something you have to create from scratch. It already exists as a state of consciousness that you can step into right now, in this moment. Just like you stepped into it when you said those words at the beginning of this video. Those words were not just an exercise. They were an actual shift. They were the new self being put on, even if just for a moment, and every time you return to that state, every time you put on the new self deliberately and consistently, you are deepening the new identity. You are making the new normal more and more familiar, until one day it is simply who you are, and the life you have been trying to manifest is simply how your life is. So I trust you found this video to be helpful. Let us conclude with an affirmation to further encourage. You may say, I put off the old self that no longer serves me. I am renewed in the spirit of my mind. I put on the new self, the version of me that already has the life I desire. This is who I am now. This is what feels normal to me now. I think from this identity. I feel from this identity. I act from this identity. The power of awareness is taking this new blueprint and manifesting it in form. The bridge of incidents unfolds perfectly, by grace and grace alone. Knowing that everything just is, I am completely fulfilled. Thus, I experience a fulfilling bridge of incidents to manifesting the vision in flow. If you would like a copy of this mind map, the link is in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I will talk with you soon. Take care. You do not have a manifestation problem. You have an identity problem.